Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. Are you ready?
Just bring it!
Woo!
And that's the bottom line. And that's the bottom line. Woo! Just bring it!
Yes, sir. We're back once again, another week of the Asylum. I'm your host, Mr. OMG, and I am here with my man.
Hey, man, the brother man with the master plan, Brother Cam, and...
Hey, oh. We got a special thing right here. Our guest now, he's special. He is our new,
Yeah, look at that.
United States heavyweight
Look at
champion.
that
Ladies and
thing.
gentlemen,
Yes, sir.
listen, I got to introduce him like this.
Hey,
The song, too?
Bobby Ballantyne.
Yes, sir.
he got violinists in this bitch.
Right?
Classic.
Had to,
Hey.
I had to step it up a little bit. I got the belt now, so I gotta make it mean something.
Hell
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Well
I
deserved.
appreciate that.
Well deserved. And
Hey, you want to tell her how we was talking about it last week?
what?
We was talking about that last week.
What was we talking about?
Him winning the belt.
What are you talking about right now? I'm lost. I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
We was talking about him winning the belt last week on the Asylum.
Oh yeah. That's what we were doing.
What the hell?
Bruh.
You all right?
No.
Blinkies,
When am I
man.
ever all right? It's the Asylum, bro. I don't know. I'm not all right right now. But anyway, hey, congratulations,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bobby Ballantyne.
Thank you.
Like Cam said, we was talking about you last week when you won it, so I guess that means you won it 2 weeks ago.
That sounds about right.
But they
Yeah,
know
but
it's
right there.
post-dated and pre-recorded and all that good stuff. So it's all good.
Yeah.
How do you know they know that? What do we
Because-
always say?
Because
They don't know nothing. They're dumb.
Don't say that.
Okay. I thought that's what we say. Ain't that what we say?
That's not what we said. That's what you and... you tried to get me to throw the balls underneath the bus. Bang, bang. You didn't get me this time. Not this time.
He says it.
Now then, man. Hey, are we allowed to even talk about that? I mean, this is a hot take.
I mean, hey, we talk
All right, well, hold on,
wrestling and hot topics.
In one second,
so
one second.
anyway.
Let's talk about this first.
Oh, of course.
Because we got the man in the building right
Of
now.
course.
Bro, the people of Charlotte, North Carolina, they came up just like I said they would. It's not about me, it's about Bobby B. But let me tell you what, bro. Nobody understands what we all done been through to get all this together. I really do understand when the Royal Rumble just happened. I watched the press conference and I try to be like, man, how much of this is work? How much of this is manufactured? And I tell you, really the story is the story, the business is the business, and the product is the product. But that the topic of the day gonna be later. That moment, that's all real. There you can't write that. You can write all roads to that, but you can't write that moment. And that moment was so awesome to see. So before we get into that, I'm gonna say I'm so happy and for you, and I don't know if this means anything, but proud of you and proud for you because I know what you've been through, and a lot of that's not for the air, but what I'm saying, I'm just happy to see that get full circle. So congratulations.
Listen, I'm my time knowing you, Mr. B. Like our relationship has grown, and I watched you grow into it, and not knowing whatever it is you went through, I just know that you had a story, which everybody does. Still, that moment like it's one of those moments that's like when you feel it and people they feel it.
Yeah.
You can't help but feel it too, especially
Yeah.
when you become bonded with somebody. It's like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was happy in the moment too, and you brought the city out. Like they came out to see Bobby B. But now, like, the only downside to the whole thing is that, and I really feel, not taking nothing from the match. The match was for a phenomenal match. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check it out at extremetvonline.com for $4.99, first 5 days free. You can see how Bobby B won that belt. But the match, great match, but it was supposed to be, which I think would have been another epic match in itself anyway, you versus Sethro.
Yeah.
You know, and our hearts and prayers go out to Seth right now. He's doing much, much better. But
Absolutely.
you know, getting off of it a little bit, take you out of our story and what you guys see all the time, though. Behind the curtains, that he is a close brother of ours, and you know, we're praying for his speedy recovery and to come back. And in all honesty, I'm waiting to see him and Bobby B run that back because, well, I didn't run it back, but run what it was supposed to have been, because I know that would have been an epic match. And yeah,
that's one of those, bro. That's like, it sucks. That whole situation is like, it sucks that happened, but because of that, it showed so many positives in all of us and the team around us. You
Right.
know, Bobby had an input on how things went down. You know, you had an input. Boss Man came back with a lot of our input and brought us something that we all was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that was one of those, like, hey, when one man falls down, everybody else kind of stepped up, and we, you know, we brought it to the table, and all of those men delivered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, it's one of those catch-22. So yeah, we want Sethro to get better, and please do. But I'm also proud of everybody else in this time being able to.
Right.
It truly feels like it's like a team effort. You know.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. We all have our moments. I know I have mine, but we're really achieving things at a level that we really didn't think is possible, and that's crazy to call that normal now.
Right.
So it's awesome.
And that just also goes to, you know, credit the talent that you are. Like, you know, we're talking about you like you're not here, but it don't matter. Because the way I look at it, like, listen, I like to give people their flowers when they're due. Now I don't need to wait till later or whatever. I'm gonna give, like, you really pioneered that match. Like, that match, it was geared like.
Phenomenal story.
Phenomenal, you know, that's my word. It's phenomenal story, but for you to even step into that, and per se, like he say, story, and those that have been watching the story, it was built, and it's almost like those real, like the UFC fighters or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, when they're scheduled to fight this guy and they're doing this training, all of a sudden something happens, injury in training, then they get a new guy, a whole new card. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, is this going to be the build-up that everybody else did? And I will say, I don't know what just happened there, but I will say the match still did not disappoint, and that's a credit to you because of your craft and your work, the way you work in the ring, and those that worked with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it was a phenomenal card. Like, you know, hats off to you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Hats off to
So
you.
so I got to ask you now. How do you take that as a whole, from the build up to what it was supposed to be to what was gonna happen to what actually happened to now?
Yeah. I think for everybody, it would have been really cool if we could have got me and Sethro. Just to cap off that story, I think would have been really cool, not just for myself, not just for Sethro, not just for XWW, but all the people in Charlotte that came out, you know. But, you know, sometimes things change, and the destination might be the same, but you might just have to take a different road to get
Right. Oh, well said.
So it in the end, everything worked out. This was the end goal, right? And like you said, it ended up being 4 other guys, and they did a hell of a job. Like you said, everybody picked up the baton and ran with it,
Right.
But like you said, man, everybody in Charlotte came out to see me, man. I had some folks from high school that I didn't even know was gonna be there.
Right.
And just seeing them there was real cool, and being able to have that moment with them was just real cool. Especially in wrestling, there's a lot of people that'll be like, yeah, hit me up when you got your show or whatever. And it was like, yeah, okay. But the fact I didn't even have to hit them up, they was just there because they saw the poster and they were like, yo, this is right up the street. And I'm gonna be there for my boy. Like I really appreciated that. And I hadn't gone back and seen the show. I won't go back and watch it, but I just got that moment in my head. So that's just kind of what I'm living off of.
Yeah, that was about to be my next question. I was going to ask you that. Like, really has it soaked in yet? Are you real?
I don't even know if it's really sunk in yet. Like I've been like, holding it and stuff. And this is like the first title I've had since I started. But like just
wow. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So like just it means a lot. And I don't know if it's still like fully sunk in yet. It might sink in by the next show. It might sink in June. It might sink in by December. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But it's something that I really appreciate. And
see that takes us back. That takes us back like a couple of episodes and probably even last season. Man, Cam and said we was talking about like do those because the thing was like do those belts mean something? And like we say, like you are picture perfect. Like the fact that how you feel about that right now. When people say, it's just some metal and it's gold and this and that, but like when somebody puts the title on you, that you're representing that company, that means they feel something about you.
Yeah.
So to say that, it's just, a belt, then anybody that feels that way, I feel it's they're wrong. They're wrong. Why are they even here?
Yeah, and it can be times where it can just be a belt. There's definitely gonna be moments I feel like where maybe I will get one of these and it's just a piece of leather. But this means like somebody else believes in me, right? Like it's not I ain't just been doing this for no reason.
Yeah.
Like somebody else
Validating.
sees something in me, and like you said, that's validating. That's validation right there.
That's crazy. And like one thing that we talked about last week is, like I said, I seen it from, I can only speak of your tenure here with us.
Yeah.
I was here from, reaching out to you to come on board with the training staff, and I asked. I really ain't asked. I kind of just told Sethro and Kwest, and I was like, I said, I think I'm going to have Bobby Stark coming up here. And they was like, okay, and it just kind of just grew naturally and organically. And then, Manny, by nature, started using you more. And then it was asking questions on, is he available for this? Then it was like, okay, then maybe I can pitch this. And maybe it was, and then it just kind of grew into Manny's own belief in you, and that to me was like so awesome. Just seeing that, because he got the, he in the back enjoying the moment so much. He telling us to go out there and stuff. I said, wait, let him raise the title first. He's so happy, He got his he's dressed up and ready to go. You know what I mean? But like
Bob.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one. but like, and it's crazy to see how your role here has just grown. And I don't mean like your role as in like, you got one job and one job only. I'm saying as like, the character progression.
Yeah.
When you first came here, it was, all right, Bobby, Oh, that's the dude from Charlotte. We used to go see him on Pure. He used to tear it up on Pure.
Yeah.
And then it was, no, he ain't the dude that used to do nothing. Now he ain't here doing this now. And then your craft got better. You got a little bit more, respectfully, smarter in your craft.
Yeah.
You know, you wasn't doing other things. You were saving your body and kind of just getting back into it. And, you know, you working through your own stuff. So, and it's cool to see that story. You know, you have your own self story, and to get to that point, and it's really just beginning. Now I know what Triple H be saying. Like, I feel like Triple H in this moment because this is one of my guys. You know what I mean? And the boss man is trying to take him from me. He's like, oh, he's gonna, I want to do this one. Like, damn. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for pushing somebody like Bobby. So like, it's kind of cool to see what it went from to where it is now to where it's gonna be. Yeah. Because I can tell you, as far as Bobby B and Lenny Boy go, we just getting started.
Right.
Just getting started.
And like, and when you're talking on that story, like I say, and same story I had something with Cam. Actually, we're getting to that a little bit later on, But we all know I had to step away from the company for a little while. I was gone in Florida for a minute when I came back, and then had heart surgery. Whole different dilemma. So, I was pretty much 7 years, maybe 7, 8 years removed from the company. So once I came back in, I'm introduced to new faces or whatnot, and I've seen Cam, and I've seen you. Now, with you, I would go around as I'm trying to get back into the flow of things in the circuit. When I would go to different promotions, and I would see you. Always a respectful dude, Never seen you as that dude, like, who's this guy? Always respectful and respected. You know what I'm saying? Everybody will come respected. And you know me, I'm gonna talk my shit or whatever. I'm like, that's the man with the fanny pack. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
I'll never forget when you first saw him in that gear.
Oh, that's a whole other story. We was like, okay, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. This dude with the fanny pack, we in the 2020s, and they got a fanny pack. I'm like, hey, but I love it, Hey, that, though I would have jokes for it, because that's just what I do, I joke. Yeah. But just seeing stuff like that tells me a lot about you. I'm like, this is a man that really don't care. He's in his own lane, and he don't give a damn if he's carrying a fanny pack in 2024. And the fanny pack is stylish. I like, wait a minute, is that a mask on that? You know what I'm saying? But then when I saw that, but then when Cam brought you, into it there, and I would see you here in training, I was like, oh, I already thought, I've told Cam this a long time ago, I have a superpower. I don't know. For those that don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I have a superpower. I am a superhero, all right? But superpower. I see people and I see that aura around them. And I know a lot of times if I'm gonna fuck with a dude now or never, you know what I'm saying? Or do I just I sit back? Because like even when I met Cam, I came back into the locker room, even though I'm no stranger to the locker room and to the boss man and those that work here. To the majority, 80% of people, I was kind of new. They was like, wait a minute, who's this guy sitting back here? But I sit back and I don't say much. I just observe. And I do that for a reason. That's how I feel people out. Yeah. Never had a bad vibe with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, this is a cool dude. I've seen him around circles or whatever. So now you're here, which, actually in the circuit, you're gonna bump head and run into each other. But when you came into here, I'm like, okay, well, this is a guy we might want to keep here, And then, and helping into once Cam brought you into the training, and I'm like, yo, this guy's really invested in wrestling. So you got some people, okay, and even still, you got some people that's made it, and they just wrestle. That's just something I do, you know what I'm saying? But then you have the majority of those people that really, they're invested in the trade of it, the lifestyle of it. They are wrestling. And I got that from you. I'm kind of like, well, okay, wait a minute. This man is really into it. And as you would come, we became closer. We began to bond about it. And then I start, once bonding happened, I figure out people's temperaments, people's, their attitude, their personalities, and we got that. And bro, I'm gonna tell you with you, it grew like, each week, you know, because I found myself the next week like, I didn't know Bobby was like that. That's not the fucking Bobby. I played the role. And then next week, it even progressed. And then I realized how passionate you are about this business and this thing. You know, and then like, what really stands out is that not only are you passionate about it, you're passionate about it that you're passing it on to other people to get it. I don't know if he wants to tell you this story or whatnot, but anyway, I'm gonna tell it anyway. 'Cause that's what I do. I talk. It's my show. I can run my mouth. Had a trainee one time, just was not getting it right. Just wasn't getting it. All right. Bobby is telling them. Bobby is telling them. Bobby's on the ring. Bobby is telling them. The next thing you know, we're all sitting there. Bobby snaps. Bobby's like, yo, brother, why are you doing this? This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing to get it right. And I was like, I was over here like, clutch the pearls. I'm like,
Got to clutch the pearls. Hashtag CTP.
I am sitting there at the corner like, huh? What? And I look over at Cam, and Cam is just over there like he don't see what's going on. Bro, really? From there. Look, I joke with Bobby from there, and now we have a running joke. Like I always give him different names, but then I just knew how passionate he was for it, and I was all for it.
So look, the biggest reason, and it's no secret, Bobby's passion for what he does, and for the art of it, and for always learning a different layer of it, is the biggest reason why I wanted him to come on board here. Right. I mean. Yeah, was he going through a rough personal time and then that helped? Yeah, but I wasn't thinking of that at the time. I'm thinking of, you know, that's two birds, one stone. Let's get him in an element where he can be himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And slowly but surely that came out week by week. Mm-hmm. So it's that once we got past that first plug taping with, we ain't gonna name that. You know what I mean? I always feel bad about that. But the match did its job to the boss, at least.
Right.
It got Bobby over with the boss, and that's all that was really for. But, like, man, you know, he has added so much to what I already try to teach, and, like, I couldn't – it wouldn't be the same. Like, yes, I was saying earlier today to somebody that, like, these guys have taken the longest, but they are more mentally – ready than anything else. That's the crazy thing. It's they just not physically ready. These are the first trainees I ever had that aren't physically ready, but they mentally, they got so much knowledge and can weave in and out of so many holes. They just need to physically be there, present. And that's really the only problem. And a lot of that is because of they take the time out to message Bobby, and Bobby he ain't gonna leave him hanging. You know, he tell him some shit that Cam Jackson was never even thinking of. So. Yeah,
and I love in the group chats how Bobby sends these messages. It's just stuff that, like, he's there again. And he also lets you know that he's not just trying to teach what he knows. He studies the game himself, you know, and he shares that knowledge. And I love how the fact that me and you are talking about him like he's not sitting right there. But, hey, it's great. I love it. Eat it up. I ain't going to stop. But, like, I mean – so I love
can I
what he puts into
a question?
Yeah, sure.
Where does that grow? Where does that very begin of? I'm like, you know, I understand we all watch wrestling one day, but where does it really grow to you wanting to find out more about it?
Man, it was so, like, you know, like you said, like it was just kind of always watching it when I was little. Like I think I know my dad said him and my Uncle Mike and my granddad used to, like, watch wrestling together. So I think that was kind of something that we did a little bit too. But he kind of fell off for it, and I just kind of stuck with it. You know, I remember watching SmackDown, watching Rey Mysterio, I remember watching Undertaker come out on the bike, you know, even before, you know, he cut the hair and all that. But it was just kind of one of those things where you watch it, and it's just one of those things where you just won't be a part of that. Like, you just want to be in that. You know, it's kind of like, you know, people when Star Wars dropped, like, everybody was like, okay, like, I want to be, like, in Star Wars. You know, I want to be one of the people in the X-Wings or something like that. But I just wanted to be a wrestler. It really didn't have, like, you know, it was always one of those, yeah, I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle. And then I got to high school, and I was kind of trying to, you know, figure out what I wanted to do afterwards. I was like, well, maybe this is the time I started looking at wrestling and stuff. You know, freshman year, they get on the announcements, and they're like, oh, you know, we're having a wrestling meeting after school or whatever. I'm thinking it's a pro wrestling thing, and like, oh, they got a pro wrestling club, like that's dope as hell. Like, we about to be in here talking, and I get in here, and it's like dudes playing football, like basically all the football players and stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, this is like wrestling, okay. But you know, then from wrestling, that kind of gave me another like layer of love for it, just because it felt like this was like not necessarily a requirement, but like it kind of felt like that. It kind of felt like it was a requirement. Like, this is wrestling, so I got to know how to wrestle, you know. And then once I kind of started getting like junior, senior year, I was just kind of looking for wrestling schools. Just kind of trying to find somewhere to get my foot in the door and figure all that out. And then 2015, I think it might have been beginning 2015. It was beginning like January 2015. Started going to PWX, and then George would always be there. So me and a couple of my boys, and shout out to George South, you know, we just went up over to his table, and he was telling us about training and stuff. So I emailed him, but you know, I never went up there. Nothing was like starting. But time went by, and I was honestly, junior year came, and I was going into senior year. I was ready to just stop wrestling and just start doing pro wrestling. But my teammates pulled me back in. They pulled me back in that last year. So I did that, and then once I graduated, I started training at Hot Spots October 15th, 2015. And then it just kind of started from there. And like, it was one of those things where it's like nothing like you think it's gonna be, but that's what makes it so great. Because you don't really know what the fuck, or you don't really know what's going on. Like, you're learning something from scratch, and the more you learn something, or the more you're just kind of around it, the more it makes you fall in love with it, because it's like a language. Like I was saying, I think it was Zay the other day. I was like, he don't speak English, but he speak the language. He speak the language of wrestling, and that's something that like only few people really get to understand. And I don't even feel like I understand it. I feel like I'm just kind of here, just kind of doing stuff. But it's a lovely thing, man. Wrestling is just a lovely thing, and just to be able to be a part of it, and the fact that it has so many layers. It's not just one thing. It's not just wrestling. It's not just entertainment. Like, it's a lot of different components being put together.
And then I think, and that's what a lot of people don't get about professional wrestling and what we do. Like, it's not just athleticism. It's not just being able to entertain. It's like you got to mesh all that together if you want to be successful and somebody to come see and do certain things. And you know, the fact that you even said that, but it's so funny that, like, I'm gonna tell you my wrestling beginnings. Yeah, we played football, and our coaches always say football was my sport. Coaches always tell you, all right, well, you know, after football.
I'm sorry, I had to get one in.
I'm just saying, you know, they say after football season, you have to do something else, you know. You have to stay active or whatnot. So I'm thinking, all right, well, hey, you know, I watched, even at that age, I was watching wrestling. Yeah. And me doing wrestling. When I realized, oh, it's totally different. Yeah. Because when I was coming up, I was always strong and cocky, but I wasn't half as big as I am now. Yeah. I was a little lanky, little something, you know what I'm saying? And I was weighing in like, you know, I played defensive end, probably the smallest defensive end in the conference, but I was bad. Don't get it twisted. Don't you get it twisted. But anyway, you know, I was probably the smallest D. Yeah. You know, like I was weighing 175, but they was putting I was papered in, I was penciled in at 185, 190. But no, I was a strong 175, and that was really pushing 75. Yeah. When I got into wrestling, it's all about weight classes. Mm-hmm. So we in weight training, and I'm trying to get bigger and put on some muscle. And we get into wrestling, they're already talking about, you got to cut weight. Yeah. And I'm sitting there like 175. I'm already feeling skinny as, And they wanted me to go down I think like a 155 or 165 something weight class. I'm like, bro, are you serious? That's when I knew wrestling was not for me.
Yeah, I was always around so when I freshman year, of course I was on JV. I was like 280, I think, when I first joined the team. Yeah, I was thick. And I ain't thick. I was fat, boy. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was fat as hell. But then, just kind of the just from practice and all that stuff, you would lose weight.
Right.
So hell yeah. I got down to I think I dropped to 180 or 210. And then after that, I kind of stayed between 220, heavyweight, which is 285, but I was never 285.
Right.
I was 240, which would suck because, having to wrestle fat dudes when you only 235 is damn, well, I guess I'm gonna take this L on this one.
And I was always tall. You know what I'm saying? I was tall at 175, and so that's tall and lanky. And you talking about rap? I got all these limbs for people to grab hold to. And the coach put me in this plastic bag. We run around in plastic bags.
Yeah. We had
1 week. 1 week, and I done dropped 5 pounds. I was like, oh no, nah, wrestling's not for me. Yeah. Y'all can have that. So I went and joined indoor track because that was around the same time. I went to the indoor track, and then they had us running the whole neighborhood. I was like, yo, I ain't with this shit either. So you know what? I became a pole vaulter.
Heck yeah.
Hey.
And with that, it's in my blood because my son.
Shout him out. Go ahead. Shout him out.
My son, Keon Howe, he is. He has so many records over North Carolina, and he went to UNCC, and he still holds their school record. I hadn't checked lately, but I don't think nobody's beaten him. He had the school record there. He's got the state record at the indoor track place.
Hey, hashtag proud dad.
And so now he's professional in the thing. You know what I'm saying? And he does that. I wanted to play football. I did. I was at dad football. But me and moms, we after we
didn't see eye to eye,
went separate ways, and so I used to have him come out because I coached the league football. Yeah. I used to have him come out, and I used to use him as an example. At 3 years old, right? 3 years old, we out there, and I'm telling you, at the time I was coaching 9, 10, 11-year-olds, right? They couldn't do push-ups and nothing, I'm like, what? My little son come out there, now I got perfect push-ups, just going. I'm like, y'all letting a 3-year-old outshine you, the motivation, right? And I just knew my son was going to play football. Well, when me and Mom split and, when I separated, Mom wasn't having him coming out playing football with me. I don't know if it was spiteful for me or if it was just she didn't want him in football at the time. But either way, he didn't play. I didn't get to coach my son. Now, though me and my ex-wife we're good, we're cool. However, still something that sits with me, right? Wouldn't let him coach with me. But then when he got older, I think when he was around, don't give me the line. I don't want to say he was around 9 or 10 or whatever. My brother-in-law at the time had a football team. She let him join his team. Now.
Deep breath, Kwest. Deep breath.
Only problem is, shout out. I've never had issues I've never had issues. Never had issues with my brother-in-law at all. However, in high school, he was a kicker.
All right.
So all he did was kick the football.
Hey.
I kick it touchdown.
Okay.
I kick it touchdown. That's all my brother did.
All right, stop. This is Bobby's story. We talk about
No, but we got time. We got time. Listen,
we still got like another
listen,
20 minutes.
Listen, no, that ain't right.
Yeah,
but listen,
first 20
no,
minutes
but
because we started at
So
22.
So he went out, and I was mad that she went because that was her brother and let my son. And I went out to watch him. My son was so timid to contact. Which was never me.
Yeah.
Never me, ever. You got to put your nose in it. And that's kind of something that she stole from me. But hey,
That's potent.
son, you're doing your thing. He found his niche.
Yeah.
His niche wasn't football, but it's athletic in our body. I used to tell him he's a little shit. He's a superhero in training. That's all he was.
So let me ask y'all this. I'm gonna ask Bobby first if you don't mind. I'm gonna ask you the same thing. With your starting wrestling, and don't get me wrong, we didn't bring you here just to talk about this.
Yeah.
But I'm about to tie into our topic of the week, which is moments in wrestling. So putting everything together, obviously sharing willingly what you want to share.
Yeah.
How did that moment feel like that? Now, I know it hasn't sunk in.
Yeah.
I understand what it's like to stand up. You know, you won. The weight comes off your shoulders, but then you still like, why are they happier than I am?
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this is. Like,
Yeah.
is this happy? Like, what the? So, like, what's going through your mind at the time, and then most importantly, like when you leave and you by yourself, what's going through your mind then?
Man, so I was good, and then I saw everybody coming out the curtain, and then that's when it kind of like, well, honestly, when I grabbed the belt from Wolverine, it's kind of when it started, because something George always told us was not to touch the belt, like and even like, you know, during the match, if they like before the match started and they come up and show it to you, he's like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it. So anytime this was just sitting there, like just in, you know, around the studio, I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to pick it up because it wasn't mine. But then when I grabbed it for Wolverine, it was like, okay, like this is mine. It was really like that I earned it moment. And then everybody came out the curtain and it was like, okay, this is like, it feels like a big moment. Like, everybody was out there with me in that moment, and like you were there and Kwest was there. Like, everybody was like helping me get to this moment. Not even just in wrestling, but you know, outside of wrestling, like you were saying, like the stuff I was going through, like just having everybody there, that was another cool thing. My parents were there, so that was there. I meant they dipped out before I could show them off to everybody, but as soon as I got out the ring, he was sitting in the front. So as soon as I got out the ring, I just went over to him, and he took my mom took a picture with us, and that was just like one of those. My dad took me to my first wrestling training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he helped pay for like everything, like when I was first starting and stuff. So like being able to share that with him, and not even just that, but you know, when I was little and he would take me to wrestling shows, or like we went to when I graduated, he took me the NXT was doing Nurse Takeover Brooklyn or whatever, so that was like my big thing for graduating, was going there. So that was something we got to do together, which is like not even just go to wrestling, but go to New York and have like a little time to ourselves and just hang out and stuff. So like the fact that he was there for that meant everything. Of course, my mom, you know, that's my mom.
Right.
Having her there was dope. It like Kim was saying, it was one of those, like, it feels like everybody else is happier than me. And then I got over to Javon and Will, and I just like, I wasn't crying, I was just smiling. And it had been a long, like Kim was saying, that weight just came off my shoulder.
Right.
Like that night, everything was just gone. And then, like, you know, being able to be around everybody to help me do that, it was cool. And then I went home, and I was by myself, and I was holding this, and I just started crying. Like, it was just me. It was just me by myself. And I just started crying. Because it was like, I didn't even cry that long. It was just a little bit. But it was just like, like you said, it was validation.
Right.
And it didn't feel like it was validation for just me. It was validation for everybody. Like my boy, like I wore my my AK wrestling shirt to the ring because that's where my wrestling journey started.
Right.
So having people from AK be there just kind of made it more special.
Right.
So it was really like one of those things where it just kind of kept compounding the more and more and the longer and longer it went on. And then I got home and it was kind of like, okay, like this is mine. It's like that.
For all those out there that
happened.
says that it runs your feds or whatnot, and you say those belts don't mean anything, prove you wrong right now.
So-
It means everything.
Yeah. Right. I think it's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
I think a part of it is the belt, and what it's symbolic of.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the journey to
Yeah.
get there. And you
Right.
saying that's like your first one. Like,
yeah.
bro, like I could imagine now really what that feels like.
Yeah.
That weight must have been huge for
Yeah.
that night. Like, Jesus Christ. So that is amazing. I'm glad that you got to have that moment. That
Thank
really mean that's so dope. And I know how much that means to you. For real, for real. So Quest, now same thing on your end. So you're, from where it started to where it is now, and this is pretty cool because it's a big take. You're about to go into perhaps again the biggest match of your career.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of the biggest match of your careers, but this is now like a first time ever for a promotion. It's gonna draw. I mean, I'm gonna shoot here. It's gonna draw because it's a cage match. We got a big name on the card to assure some special smart fan appearance.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be a good business night for XWW, and you're the head of the bill, and nobody's leaving until your match is over.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Right.
bro, I don't even think that's sunk into you.
Yeah.
Like, where you at right now?
Well, building up to the preparation and the build up to that, it really hadn't sunken in yet that, okay, this is going to be a big match. You know what I'm saying? I normally don't look at matches ahead of time. It's just when I'm in the moment, I want to make that moment and do the best I can for it at that moment. And then while I'm in that moment, I'm just like, shit, I won't. It's gonna be a hard bill to follow for the next one coming up. That's just how I go into every match, you know. But like you say, yeah, it probably will, and we'll probably have to go over this statement this question you asked me another time after this. But building up
If
to
you're
now,
still walking.
all right. Well, that's true. If I'm still breathing,
I can see
might
this
have a banner.
motherfucker want to jump off the top of the cage.
I might have a banner waiting for me. I don't know. But either way, until now from previous, there's so many moments that I've had in this, but I will honestly say, and I've already talked about this before, you know, we've had this discussion, but I want to say one of my shining moments right now that I stuck with was my comeback match.
Right.
And that match was so much to me because when people come in this business, they think they could do it on their own. They might be the marquee. They might be the showstopper. They might be all that. But there's nobody that can say they can come in this business and they've done it by themselves on their own.
Absolutely.
It's people that built it. And my comeback was only successful because of you, Cam, and because of Sethro. Because when I started back training from where I come from, you know, I had, we've discussed it before, I had open heart surgery.
Right.
So I was out for 7 years, you know, and I was thinking that if I was ever going to do this again, when I came in and I started training with you, like just doing up and overs, those that know the business know what we're talking about. But if not, I couldn't jump 3 inches, let alone enough to do an up and over in this, you know. But with you pushing me and me just listening, because you're never too old to learn stuff. And with me, I feel like I have to relearn this whole business because the things I used to do in the ring, can't do it no more.
Right.
Not only because of physical, you know, inabilities at the time, I'm also getting older. You know what I'm saying? I don't do the flippity do stuff. You know what I mean? But I couldn't jump 3 inches. But working with you and you just staying on my ass and having it done, like I started building, and with you, I built that confidence. So when we was able to get to the point to convince the boss man that, hey, Lay, he's coming back, he put it in. That moment stepping through the curtains, and even like you say, even sometimes you don't know what's going on until the show happens. I didn't even realize people remembered me from that point, you know. But the reaction when you step through that curtains, like, it becomes deafening. The goosebumps hit you, and I'm like, yo, out of all of my years in professional wrestling, like, I couldn't think of anybody better to share that moment with than Cam Jackson and Jordan Holt, because they have been supportive every time while they were there, and they got me to that point. And so that moment, like, the crowd, you know, you pull that in, you know what I'm saying? And even still, you know, it was baby steps getting into it. And even my moment was small as far as the match goes, it's still like, when I think about that, gets goosebumps sometimes. You know what I mean? Because
I kind of get
that is a moment. And what really is it for me as of even now going forward is the excitement that this man had, because I sat there and I'm looking him in his face. And you can even go back and watch Xtreme TV Online, $4.99, you know, first Friday's free. You can even look at it then. He was more excited and jacked than I was, you know, because naturally I'm trying to be in character, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be in character. But this man was jacked, and you can't help but follow that, like, yo, this, you know, and that's one that lets me know about the brother, like, you know, he has a genuine love for people and this business, and like, if you trust in him, he will trust in you. Yeah. And I trusted in him fully to get me to that point, but he was so excited, like, when it happened, like, and even after the match, we're backstage, this man is cheesing from ear to ear, and I'm sitting there like, you know, I can't even really soak it in yet, because that's just me, and when you become bonded with people, that's I'm so excited about him being excited that I can't even be excited myself. Yeah, like it was something else. But to this day, and I think that moment keeps revolving in my head, and that's what makes it one of the best moments that stick out to me right now.
It's you know, those two moments, and like I say, selfishly, I don't take credit for any of those moments. Selfishly, they're my moments too. You know, these moments didn't happen because of me. These moments happened because of you two. But just allowing me to be a spoke in that wheel is so big for me because, man, this, you know, I bitch about my job 24/7. But if I can, it's worth bitching about my job. Right. If we can bring you from 7 years, you know, not even being able to walk, do a push-up, I saw you try to get into that corner and try to get coordinated going all the way to delivering that Journey's In and 1, 2, bro. You know, I saw you when you were here, and then when you disappeared for a couple weeks, and then when you came back, and it just grew, and then all the way to you pinning Jordan 1, 2, 3, and boom! Like it's like, whew, we did it. Yeah. It's like if I had a champagne bottle in both of those moments, bro, it's because y'all did it, and y'all didn't quit on yourselves, and it's you can't manufacture the type of bond you grow that way. That you know somebody got your back because you got your own back. You know, right. You know you had to find some shit within yourself. Yeah. You had to find some shit within yourself, and then you know. Y'all inviting me in on that just makes that moment so great. Like I'm just grateful, man. Right. Like that's, you know, I mean, I wrestled Bobby Fish and I had a blast. That was my moment, and I got to internally enjoy that. And you know, but it's cool to see other people get their moment. That's right. Man. That's what I took this job for, man.
And seeing that's what makes good people, and those that don't have that type of attitude, but they are who they are, and the universe allows those people to be successful. But you just mentioned it. I was about to get into your moment, which, I kind of think I know you well enough where you're going with that moment, but I want to hear from you.
I'm good. Let's chill.
What is your shining moment in this business that sticks out to you right now?
I got a few, but we'll go with the most recent. We'll plug this thing because I haven't done it. Nah, man. Wrestling Bobby Fish to still know that I'm so tight with XWW and another promotion is willing to take a chance on me like that.
Mm-hmm.
That means a lot, and it's no stranger to y'all that doubt, that mental game is 24/7 because for as many people you got supporting you, you still there on the days where they questioning what you're doing. You know, and you love them and all, and it makes moments like this great, but the moments leading up to that aren't so great because of some of that doubt and some of that. So, I was in a position where I got offered a job to work with a wrestling company full time, and I took it because I was miserable at my other job.
Right.
See, I bitch about this job, but I'm not miserable here.
All right.
You know what I mean? I bitch about every job I got. You know why? Because ain't no job ever going to pay me what I want to.
Yeah.
Right.
Never. So I'm always going to bitch about it. But I bitch about this with love because I truly do want this to be better, this place. So when this company calls me up and says, hey, we want to run this thing with you, how do you feel about leading the tournament? And I wasn't even going to win this at first. It wasn't even going to be mine. I was just going to be in there to throw some fuel on the fire between Lucky Ali and Bobby Fish.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Lucky Ali, congratulations. Got his
call
up.
Got called up.
Got
called up.
You up next, man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then, somebody's got to fill a spot. And I'm next in line, and it fell in my lap. And the beautiful thing about that moment is I didn't have to stop and feel like he did me a favor because we were truly in it together. He was going through some serious shit in his life, Bobby Fish, and I'll leave it at that. But he's going through some serious things, mentally, like we all do. The mental game gets you. Mm-hmm. And, I've been going through it mentally since, whatever. But for us to, misery loves company, and in that company we created on-the-fly pro wrestling magic, in my opinion. And I was only able to do that once before, like on the fly. Well, many times with K.O. Mari, but once with somebody that I just never got in the ring with before, and that was George South. Mm-hmm. And he loved that. And Bobby Fish loved that. You were back there when he when he thanked me. The kid inside, little Cameron from Fifth Ave and Long Branch, bro. That kid broke down on the inside. But this Cam was happy for that Cam and just sat back and watched him cry on the inside.
Right.
Because that's what this business is to me. All right. That moment was great. All of his words were heartfelt. And that did satisfy the kid in me. But the adult in me needs more.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like I said, that was a moment that stands out, and I'm grateful. And I'm always on to the next one. So I want to create magic with whoever. Hell, I want to defend this thing against Bobby B. You know what I mean? Like I want to. You know me, man. I'm always down to put some asses in seats and some money in pockets, man.
Right.
Point blank. And we can do that all by telling a great story and having fun.
Right. Right. So I've enjoyed this show, but unfortunately, you already know, good things come to an end.
This was lit. This is good.
Man.
I love this. And again, once again, shout out to Bobby B. And most definitely, shout out to Cameron Jackson.
Yeah, man.
And shout out to the commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Mr. OMG, two-time OMG winner of XWW.
Hey, take the last seconds and get us off the air, the last 30 seconds. Give a message to Manny-Mac about the cage match.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll talk about this.
Hold on. From Cam Jackson, peace. I love you.
So, getting back to business. Mr. Manny-Mac, it was me and you. We started this from the beginning. So now we're going to see this come to an end. Because me personally, I am sick and tired of Money Enterprise. The music plays, I get sick to my stomach. And I know the fans do too. So what's going to happen? It's going to be me and you in the cage. There's going to be no running, no way to get away. It's going to be me and it's going to be you. Our story's been written, I don't know, for 2 decades. There's no different story here. Same thing's going to happen. Goodbye to Money Enterprise.